Hi, welcome back to Word of the Week. And this week we are looking at the theme, Move On. Move on. And we're reading from 1 Samuel chapter 16 verse 1. The Bible says, "And the Lord said to Samuel, How long will you mourn for Saul, seeing I have rejected him to be king over Israel? Fill your horn with oil and be on your way. I am sending you to Jesse of Bethlehem. I have chosen myself a king among his sons." Here we find Samuel. Remember, Samuel is the child that Hannah prayed and he's blessed. And Samuel has become the greatest prophet in Israel. And after the children of Israel rejected God to reign over them, they wanted a king. And God allowed them to have Saul. And the Bible says later on, when God commanded Saul to go and kill the Amalekite, Saul disobeys God. And later on, God rejects Saul to reign over Israel. But here in chapter 16, we find Saul still mourning, Saul still praying, hoping God will change his mind, hoping God will change his decision and allow Saul to reign over Israel. But when God comes to Samuel, he calls Samuel and says, "How long will you mourn for Saul, seeing I have rejected Saul to reign over Israel? But I have chosen myself a king in Bethlehem from the house of Jesse." Child of God, who is so in your life that you keep on mourning? Are there things that you keep on mourning? Are there things that you're failing to move on from? Are there relationships that you hoped would end in marriage, but they did not come into marriage? Are there things that you hoped would materialize, but yet did not come in? Are there losses in your life that you hoped would work out, but yet God rejected them to reign in your life? Yet God rejected them to go through. Child of God, I want to encourage you, wherever you are, that you and me must learn to move on, because there are some things that God will reject in our life because God cannot allow them to be tied to our purpose for the rest of our life. There are certain things that God will not allow to go ahead. There are certain things that God will cut short, and I know they'll be painful. Why? Because you have invested something. Why? Because you've put in your time. Why? Because you have put yourself into it and you had dreams about it. But child of God, you and me must learn to trust God, that in whatever He leads us, in whatever way He guides us, and even in certain things that God will reject over our lives, we must learn to trust in His wisdom. Why? The Bible says that when God came to Samuel, He said, "Samuel, I have chosen myself a king in Bethlehem." So child of God, while you are still mourning on Saul, while you are still praying that God may bring back the things that God has not allowed, while you're still waiting for Saul season, God is preparing you for a David season. God is not saying don't move on from the Saul, but while you're still mourning, I have prepared myself David for you. So child of God, why won't you get up? Why won't you go and conquer? Because God is saying, while you are still mourning for Saul, I have prepared for you a David season. So may God bless you. May He cause His face to shine upon you as you get up from your mat, as you wipe out yourself, as you put on your makeup, as you get your hair done and move on, because God has prepared a David season for you. So God bless you, and see you next week on the Word of the Week.